Every civilization leaves behind monuments. Some carve stone, some write laws, some build markets. Ours built airports, places where human beings are reduced to numbers, baggage, and destinations. Millions pass through these gates every day. Most are tourists. A few are pilgrims, and some are predators. Even if they don't call themselves that. They don't come with weapons. They come with currencies. They don't conquer land. They rent bodies. This is not about sex. This is about who is allowed to want and who is forced to be wanted. We like to believe desire is personal, private, natural. But desire follows infrastructure, flights, hotels, visas, exchange rates. Where poverty is dense and enforcement is weak, desire blooms, not love, not intimacy, demand. Sex tourism is not a moral failure. It is an economic inevitability created by unequal worlds pretending to be equal. When survival is negotiable, consent becomes theoretical. A passport is not a document. It is a ranking. Some passports open borders. Others trap people inside them. Some allow escape. Others force adaptation. Sex tourism exists because movement is unequal. If the poor could move as freely as the rich, bodies would not need to stay behind. But borders are sealed for labor and open for pleasure. So the market adjusts. It always does. Thailand didn't choose this fate. It inherited it. During war, soldiers needed distraction. During peace, tourists replaced them. Same buildings, same power dynamic, different uniforms. What was once military morale became economic policy, and no one shut it down, because too many depended on it to survive. The war ended, the economy didn't. The Philippines entered the digital age hopeful. Internet meant opportunity. Instead, it became extraction. Not gold, not oil, attention, youth, visibility. Now exploitation doesn't require travel, it requires bandwidth. Sex tourism no longer ends when the flight lands. It lives forever on servers, and the world watches, pretending it's shocked. When violence declines, tourists arrive. When tourists arrive, prices rise. When prices rise, the poor sell what can't be imported. Colombia was reborn as a destination, but rebirth has costs. Foreign men chase fantasies of danger without consequences. Local women absorb the consequences without escape. Organized crime understands this economy better than governments ever will, because crime adapts. Morality debates. Europe legalized prostitution and called it progress. But legality does not dissolve power, it sanitizes it. Trafficking didn't disappear, it became bureaucratic. Consent became contractual, exploitation became regulated. Europe didn't end sex tourism, it perfected its paperwork. Sweden asked a dangerous question. Why punish the poor for selling, and not the rich for buying? So they criminalized demand. Suddenly, the market shrank. Not because people became better, but because power finally had a price. Sex tourism cannot survive where shame and law align. That alone tells us everything. Airlines know. Hotels know. Tour operators know. They say nothing, because economies are built on what is not asked. Silence is not ignorance. It is alignment. The empire is cracking. Faces are tracked. Payments logged. Borders synchronized. Sex tourism thrived in the age of forgetting. Now the world remembers, but desperation still breathes. And markets hate empty spaces. Sex tourism is not an outlier. It is a mirror. It reflects a world where wealth travels freely and dignity does not. Where pleasure crosses borders and responsibility stays home. As long as inequality remains profitable, someone will sell themselves to survive. And someone will call it a vacation.